Welcome to Vertex Talks, a podcast where we talk about trending topics and answer your guys' questions. And today we're here with,
That little kid.
and oh boy, it's been some time. I hope all of you guys enjoyed this episode because we have loads of things to talk about as we haven't done a podcast in more than 3 months. So I hope you grabbed yourself a cup of coffee or tea or water, whatever, and a bag of popcorn. Okay, so one of the first events that we want to talk about is the YouTubers versus TikTokers event. It got announced, I think, maybe 2 months ago or 1 month ago. I'm not extremely sure. I'm personally going Team YouTube. Have you seen the card, that little kid?
The thing is not that exciting because like the matchups, I don't know half the people.
Yeah, let's be honest. I barely know any of the TikTokers, and some of the YouTubers I also
Yeah.
don't know. But I'm definitely excited for the main card, the second card, and the third card. Because if anybody
Yeah,
doesn't know,
I want to see the game match.
if anybody doesn't know, the card, I am gonna pop it up on screen right now so you guys can take a look. It's a pretty good matchup. We'll talk about the press conference in a little bit because there was many things happening in the press conference, which I really do need to talk about because I really want to make this about 30 minutes long. But I'm going Team YouTube, as most of the people on Team YouTube I know, and barely any of the TikTokers I know. The only TikTokers I really know from there is Bryce Hall and Taylor Holder. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the press conference. Uh, if you haven't watched it, I would recommend watching it because some of the things won't make really much
I
sense.
have not watched it.
So, yeah. One of the first things are Bryce Hall is extremely cocky, so I'm 100% sure he's gonna lose.
Is he big?
I think he's shorter than Austin. Uh, but he was definitely extremely cocky in the press conference. Even when it's not his turn, he's just
I feel like he
constantly
wants to
talking.
kill someone.
Yeah,
It's
and he
not just a
was even,
competition to
I
him.
saw his vlog on it. Uh, he was even like before the press conference, I think he had a bit of beef with KSI, which we'll talk about a little later into the podcast. But basically, even before it was his turn to talk, he was always like he was interrupting everybody and like saying, "I'm gonna slap the shit out of you" and stuff. Yeah, I would totally recommend watching it because it's a pretty entertaining what do you call it, press conference. I watched like three
Yeah.
highlights of it and I watched the whole thing once. So, and also
How many
something
people are in this press conference?
I think are probably like the five boxers. I think there's about maybe 15 or 20, something around that. But I might be wrong. Because also there
Okay.
was some special what do you call it? Cards announced or new cards announced, which I know none of them, so I'm not going to be talking about them, unfortunately. The third thing is from the press conference. Bryce Hall and Taylor Holder look absolutely like Jake Paul wannabes, which is kind of funny because we all know they are extremely good friends with Jake Paul.
Like they
And
actually are?
no, they look like Jake Paul wannabes, and they also talk like them. Because as we all know, Jake Paul is extremely cocky. So are Taylor Holder
Oh
and
my god.
Bryce Hall. So that's definitely annoying. But if they knock out Austin, if Bryce knocks out Austin, I'm gonna be a bit sad.
Nice.
If they knock out their opponents, fair enough. The most experienced boxer on this card is Taylor Holder, so fair enough for him to be cocky because apparently he has about 5 years of boxing experience, but I don't think so. He has went into a card or an actual boxing match. He apparently trained with Canelo, which, if you guys don't know, he's one of the biggest boxers in boxing. And yeah, you probably know him. But what I am seeing by the press conference, and oh, I forgot to mention this before. On Bryce's vlogs, he made fun of Austin for boxing scrubs when, uh, in his vlogs, he has boxed against scrubs and he did not even, I don't know if he tried or not, but he was swinging his hand like a madman. It wasn't boxing, it was like slap hitting. I totally recommend watching it because it's kind of hilarious, and he still wins because the guy who he's boxing with, he doesn't even know how to defend. He's not a boxer. I mean, that's the only footage that we have of
He
him
has
boxing, which
he
I
has
don't.
mastered the strats of KSI.
Uh, obviously, I don't know very well about the person he boxed because I don't think so he's famous. I think he's another TikToker or something. And we also just have this much footage of what I can find of him sparring. So I can't really say if that's how he normally fights. There's absolutely no freaking way he's gonna win. A zero
Yeah.
percent chance. So another thing I want to say is there's absolutely no way TikTokers are gonna win. I think even if like Bryce wins or Taylor
So
Holder
they're
wins,
gonna do the bro. The TikTokers are gonna do the whip, and everybody's gonna just fall down.
yeah. But the thing is, I'm pretty sure most of the YouTubers will knock out or at least win against. That's what I'm predicting. I'm not predicting every single fight because obviously I don't know every single fight on the card because I don't know a bunch of people. The only person who has fought before is apparently someone called DDG. I've never heard of him, but apparently he has boxed before. And Canelo, obviously. Not what did I just say? I mean Taylor, obviously. He trained with Canelo apparently, and has been boxing for 5 years. Another thing which happened in the press conference was Fusi made the whole press conference about himself because he was the host of it. Uh, it was like just going after like Deji, which we can't talk about right now. It was basically just talking a bunch of smack with Deji, but I don't think it's his fault because I've seen like a little bit of a video he posted. He said he did not mean to ask the questions; they just gave them a paper of questions to ask the fighters, and then so it makes him look less like a villain. But I still think he's a douchebag. He was going against like because
He's like bad in every way.
he was like going like because there was like a bunch of people who were being like I'm just doing this for the money. Like I think what's his name Vinny Hacker, the person who's going against Deji, he straight up said he was doing it for money. When I heard that, I saw the clip on the Bread Batch Instagram, and I was laughing and I was literally dying. Everyone was laughing at over there as well, which was hilarious because let's be honest, it's just funny when someone because this is how you like you don't really sell a fight really well if you just say you're doing it for money because if you truly have a hate between each other, you can sell the fight really well because then people would want to watch it. Just like Logan Paul versus KSI, they really hated each other beforehand. I think they still do, but probably way less now. That's why they sold the fight that well. I think they had they had a solid amount of pay per view buys, and I think like I don't know like 8,000 people in the Staples Center. I'm not sure. I'm not fully confirmed with that number, but I think they sold a decent amount of pay per views because obviously they had like a truly a beef. Because a bunch of people they're just doing it for money. They just don't care. They don't hate each other, which is probably the worst way to promote a fight. I'm just doing it for money. But yeah, it's definitely something which is something I if you're I'm pretty sure you're still confused. Well, how is Fusi just being a douchebag? Just watch the press conference. You'll see he makes there's just so much he has done. I can't put it onto this like 20 to 30 minute podcast, and because I have still loads of things to go through. But yeah, just watch the press conference. It has a bunch of things that you can go through. Two fighters from England are returning, or United Kingdom, whatever. And Eson Gibb and Deji, they're both returning. If you don't know how Deji lost, both of them lost to Jake Paul. Deji lost in the KSI versus Logan Paul event, the first one by Jake Paul. I think he lost by TKO. I'm not extremely sure. And Anisan Gibb was also also lost by TKO in the first round of the fight against Jake Paul as well. So both of them are returning, and I'm completely very excited to see them fight again, especially Gib. If he knocks out Taylor Holder, I'll be extremely happy. But as I was saying, I completely believe that Deji and Gib, both of them will come out on top on the night, winning the fight. But as I was saying, I think Deji and Anisan Gib will come out on top and win this fight against them. And apparently, Deji is going to be fighting Taylor Holder if he wins against Vinny Hacker, which I totally believe he will, because I think Vinny Hacker doesn't know how to box. So, yeah, we'll see. Also, before the press conference, KSI called out Bryce Hall, I think, in a Sidemen video, and then they went back and forth for a couple tweets, and then KSI at the last said, "Win your fight, and then we can talk," which I don't think Bryce is gonna win. But if Bryce wins, I really want him to lose. So I will love to see a KSI versus Bryce Hall before Jake Paul versus KSI. We've already talked that Bryce Hall is extremely confident, but even if he wins against Austin, he ain't winning against KSI. So, also, another fight got cancelled. Not what am I saying? Another fight got confirmed. Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul. It's a huge, huge event, obviously, because like I'm pretty sure Floyd's gonna win, but Logan Paul getting the fight just makes him a winner at this point, because risking a fight with Floyd is mad difficult. Uh, some people were pissed off, like Canelo, because he's been wanting a rematch with Floyd for a bit, but then he couldn't get it, and then Logan Paul got it. So yeah, Floyd Mayweather could come out on 51-0, or Logan Paul, which probably is never gonna happen, can come out on 1-1, which is highly doubted. But if he has a 1-1 after this fight, yeah, he might as well take the 50 wins from Floyd. He might as well. 51 and and 1 could be a great matchup. Also, next month is two fights. The next 2 months, we have great fights coming up. We have Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul, obviously, and then we have YouTubers versus TikTokers, and then on July we have Conor McGregor versus Dustin, and I can't pronounce his last name, so I'm not gonna try to. And then yeah, it's a bunch of things. I'm gonna say basically I'm gonna actually look at the card and basically tell you guys all of my fight predictions, or I'll tell you guys most of my fights for the Tanner Fox versus Nick Austin. Tanner Fox is gonna win. That's my prediction. For FaZe Jarvis versus Michael Lee, I think I pronounced his name right. Yeah, I don't think so. Michael Lee has any any chance of winning, because if you don't know already, before the fight, I mean, this doesn't really predict that he's a good fighter or a bad fighter, but before the fight, I think a couple weeks ago, he DM'd FaZe Jarvis to fake beef to sell the fight, and FaZe Jarvis does not like playing those games. So he made an exposed video on Michael Lee. He talked about this in the press conference that he doesn't really want to do fake beef. What am I saying? Michael Lee does not want to do real beef, because he's like Mr. Nice Guy or something. But yeah, that's Obviously, gonna change afterwards you get into the ring. Next fight is DDG versus Nate. I can't pronounce his last name. DDG is gonna win. That's my prediction because apparently he has boxed before and I don't know any of them. It's Anison Gibb versus Taylor Holder. I'm saying Gibb, but if Taylor wins, big oofs. Deji is coming for you though. Uh, and then Deji versus Vinny Hacker. Deji, obviously, who is this Vinny Hacker guy? I do not know him. You might know him because you watch TikTok, but I don't watch TikTok, so yeah, I don't know any of the TikTokers almost. And then we have obviously the main card, Austin McBroom versus Bryce Hall. I'm saying Austin McBroom, boom, um, because I don't think Bryce, because he's being so cocky even after he hasn't even won a fight yet. Yeah, no, thank you. I don't think Bryce is gonna win because Jake Paul had like a reason to be cocky. He won 2 fights after the Nate Robinson fight. You can see he is extremely, extremely cocky. But then he has a reason for it because he already won 2 fights and he beat Gibb in the first round and beat Nate Robinson in the second round. So you know that you see there's a link up to that because obviously he beat both of them in the first 2 rounds, which is a pretty reasonable reason to obviously fight or be cocky is what I meant to say. And just yeah, it's just yeah, you know. But Bryce still hasn't won a single thing. He won against I think the person he sparred. I think his name is Stormy. I think that's what his name is. Yeah, if that's how he's fighting in the ring, I'm telling you, Bryce is gonna get knocked out. Now that's basically all the people I actually know from the card. So yeah, we are not gonna be talking about any of the other fights because I don't know any of them. Even though I didn't know DDG anyways, but I kind of know him. Not really though. But yeah, those are my fight predictions. Obviously this happened. I think yeah, this happened last month. Ben Askren got knocked out. He got knocked out. He didn't get knocked out. Uh, he got TKO'd by Jake Paul in the first round. He lasted less time than Nate Robinson, which makes me want to see Nate Robinson versus Ben Askren, but I don't think Ben Askren is really gonna fight or do a boxing match. He might do wrestling, but yeah, he probably does wrestling with Ben. But yeah, definitely not the best thing to Ben Askren because he has already finished his career with losing to Masvidal in the first round in I think 4 seconds or three, I don't know, and then losing to Jake Paul is definitely not something you should actually be happy with. But it is what it is. You can't really do much about it. And I don't know why the ref didn't let them go, even though like Ben Askren, he was completely fine after he got knocked down. But the ref was like no, because I think the ref took some experience between like the last fight that he did. Because in the last fight, we all know on the first round he got knocked down, and then he was on the ground for a couple seconds, so that's when you're meant to be like stopped. But Ben Askren straight up went back up, so I don't really get the reason why they stopped in the first round. You can definitely go to the second round, but obviously ref, you know, they're pretty strict with boxing instead of MMA. Because MMA, you're gonna be fighting until you're basically knocked out, or you're basically struggling to fight which he was definitely not. Definitely, I think he might get knocked out literally right afterwards. Because if you couldn't see the fight, if you didn't see the about like I think like a 30-second knockout, no, Jake Paul was literally ready to go in again and knock the f out. He was ready, but obviously, yeah, that happened. And then he started crying for some reason, which I don't really get. I mean, I know you be an retired MMA, but like, calm down. It kind of reminded me of Luke Campbell versus Ryan Garcia, but that was more reasonable because Luke Campbell is, I think, he's a really good boxer. So is Ryan Garcia, so it was kind of reasonable. But like over here, I mean, like it was kind of annoying as well afterwards he won. Cause then, like afterwards he won, he's like everyone's like, oh, he's fight a boxer, he's an MMA fighter and stuff, which was so annoying. Cause I'm personally on all these fights, I have no freaking like no, there was no chance of what do you call it? The other person winning except Jake Paul, because he has real dedication and his boxing skills is pretty solid. You know, it's not bad, definitely not bad. But against the people he's fighting, just nah. But that doesn't mean Gibb is a bad boxer. I still believe in Gibb to knock the F out of Taylor Holder in that night. I'm gonna watch the fight. Probably not stay awake to watch the fight, but I might be. I don't know. It's really. We'll see. We'll see. We will see. But yeah, enough talking about Ben Askren. Let's move the topic into Jake Paul. Even though we've been talking for Jake Paul in a bit right now, Jake Paul secures a deal with Showtime, which is like a boxing washing thing. I don't know. Uh, I think his last deal was with Thriller. That's why his last I think two fights were with Thriller. But now he has a deal with Showtime, which is I think a bigger one. I think my voice went low, but I think Floyd Mayweather has a deal secured with Showtime, so I think it's pretty solid for him to secure some kind of what do you call it deal with a really big company. You know, fair enough, fair enough. You secured the bag definitely. Oh, and also I forgot to talk about this is that Jake Paul actually had I think was it the 10th or was it the ninth biggest pay-per-view event? I think it generated like 1.8 mil. But the thing is, there was like a bunch of what do you call it? There was a bunch. I think they lost like I don't know if this is true or not. I think I read it somewhere that they lost like 100 million pay-per-view buys because there were that many people streaming it illegally. Which I'm like, oh damn, that's big. 100 million people. That's so much. But let's be honest, the pay-per-view buy was like $50. Who's gonna buy that? $50 just to watch a 30-second knockout. Just imagine if you bought that because you want to see Jake Paul get knocked out live, and then yeah, he knocks out the person he's fighting. I bet you were freaking furious. Because most polls had like Jake Paul on like the lowest and Ben Askren was like winning. And then like after the fight, everyone's like, "Oh, he's a retired MMA. Ha ha. He's not a boxer. He's a fight boxer." Man, stop it, man. First, they're like, "Oh, fight an athlete." Okay, fought an athlete. Second, they were like, "Okay, fight a fighter." And then it was Ben Askren. And the thing is, it's so funny because I literally I think I put this on a comment of on like a post on YouTube, and literally so many people were like, "Oh, is he a boxer though?" And I was like, "No, he's like I think he's like a mixed martial art fighter or something like that." And then they were like, "Oh, then Jake Paul should have fight with mixed martial arts or something like that." And then I'm like, "Then why did you vote in the poll if you didn't?" Like the thing is, they'd be like before the fight, they'd be like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, good job, yeah, he's gonna win, he's gonna win." After the fight, it's like, "Yeah." Nah, he's not a boxer. He's not a fighter. He's not. It's so annoying, man. Because the thing is, the people who have bet definitely in the Ben Askren fight have to make some real money. Let's be honest, they have made some real money. The people who have bet on these Jake Paul fights, because I'm pretty sure if you bet on Jake Paul, you can make so much more money than if you bet on the other person's side. Because the chances that someone bets on the other people instead of Jake Paul is extremely high. Because I think Jake Paul is like one of the most hated people in the world. But fair enough to him. Something else which is also might be occurring, which is Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. They've been chatting for a bit, and Tommy Fury has been calling him out. Not really. Tyson Fury, his big brother. I'm pretty sure, if anyone's not aware who's Tommy Fury, it's basically Tyson Fury's little brother. He also boxes. Uh, I saw like a bunch of Instagrams on this as well, on Jake Paul being like making fun of Tommy Fury for being like um, that his brother was begging him to fight him, which was kind of funny. Because let's be honest, if you want to fight someone, say to their face, okay, or just like call them out like by yourself instead of telling your brother just because your brother is like a big fighter. Because it's mad awkward. Let's be honest. Just think about this, okay? You're a boxer, okay, and your brother is like one of the best in the world, and then you tell your brother to be like, okay, can you like call him out, please? Like, I want to fight him because I think I will get a lot of clout and a bunch of money because his pay-per-view buys are pretty big. It's just awkward because you call someone out, you be like, yeah, find my little brother, not me. Just why? Tell me if you please. Just call him out by yourself instead of constantly calling him out by your brother because that does not help. Okay, one of the last things about this podcast, and then we're gonna be ending it. I'm quitting YouTube. And yes, that's an April Fool's prank. No, I'm joking. It's not even April. It's May, the time I'm recording this. Uh, I'm not quitting YouTube fully. I'm just gonna be quitting Minecraft from this channel because I can post Minecraft content on here, but the thing is, every single video that I post, I put a lot of effort into it and a lot of time into it. And the thing is, I like doing it, but it's came to a point where I would have to spend like hours and hours on like just a video, and I might not even do that good. Just like 1,000 days, I spent 300 hours doing it, and I didn't get 1,000 views. I'm not talking about views at this point, but it's just that I wouldn't feel happy doing content which is like it's just it takes me 5 minutes to make because I've already done 2 videos on this for like the past few weeks. I have 3 videos which I've recorded I think back in March. uh, I'm gonna give you one clue for one of them. We're gonna do about 3 videos for the next 3 weeks, and then after that, I'm gonna be quitting Minecraft. I'm gonna do GTA videos, and we're gonna do it without a schedule. I'm gonna be doing a face reveal soon as well. I'm gonna be moving on to another channel, which I'm gonna be streaming daily. I stream daily right now, but on the channel, but I'm not gonna tell you guys the channel yet. I'm gonna make a full video talking about quitting YouTube at my last Minecraft video after that week. So it's gonna be a wild ride. So by the next month, I'm gonna be stopping doing a schedule, which I've been doing. Basically, I've been doing a upload every single week for the whole year, except like at the start, I was doing 2 times a week, which is personally just insane. But I think I did that for like 2 months until I was like, okay, yeah, I can't do that anymore because it's a lot of effort and yeah. But yeah, and I was gonna do 2,000 days before I stopped doing Minecraft. But I'm gonna putting a world download soon as well. World download video of me just giving the world download out. so you guys can play on it, and yeah, because I just can't be bothered to do videos which take long amounts of time because I do have to focus on other things as well because I think I've spent like over like 1,000 hours on this year already. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I feel like I have spent over 1,000 hours in this year just recording and editing videos. And I just think it's a time that I slow that down. And I know most of my subscribers have subscribed for the GTA money glitches, so I'm gonna give it back. Afterwards, I quit Minecraft. I might still be playing it, and my Minecraft server, it will be still going. Just I won't be recording it. Uh, I might jump on it every once in a while because I definitely have to focus on other things as well in my life, which is happening, which I couldn't be able to really. Uh, and and I've been also recording videos during my exams and stuff, which is pretty risky because but I have belief that I it was a good journey. But this is probably no the last video, which is gonna be in about 3 weeks. It's probably gonna be one of the last times you're gonna listen to my voice on this channel in a bit. So schedule might turn into once a month or something like that. Whenever I feel like hopping onto GTA and doing a money glitch video. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Vertex Talks. Vertex Talks, by the way, it's still gonna be going on. Whenever I get some news or some entertaining piece of content that I can record, I'm gonna come back and we're gonna be talking for a lot of time. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed watching this episode of Vertex Talks. And yeah, I'll see you hopefully all in the next video. Peace out.